Oh boy, Codemasters again. I am excited. Are you excited? I'm not excited. Codemasters has had like 1 or 2 playable games, and rest of their shit is pretty much garbage. But let's see what this fighter plane game is going to be. Alright, one of our Tu-22 bombers has been stolen. Alright, intercept the bomber before it reaches target range and destroy any terrorist activity on the way. Wow. Well, I must say this is different than pretty much every other airplane game out there, but
sorry, I'm having problems.
Honestly, it's not good, but not bad. It's hard to explain. Oh, we got blowed up. The controls are kind of janky. Like, you kind of move really blocky. It's not very fluid. It's hard to see stuff in front of you the way they do everything. So like enemy fire is so just like all of a sudden you're in it. And with not a great field of movement, it really is a fairly difficult to avoid a lot of the attacks. And the whole thing is pretty basic. Like, it reminds me of like one of those reels that you have the 2 rollers and the 1 picture, and they just crank it and it just kind of keeps going over and over and over. That's kind of what it feels like. It feels so bland and boring that they didn't put a whole lot of thought into the whole thing. We'll try again and see how it goes. But there's no like smooth controls. You're moving one way or another, which in and of itself isn't bad, but when you're trying to avoid things and you just wind up throwing yourself into the path of the missiles, because for one, you can't really see when they're coming at you, and the way you move is just rough. I mean, you really don't expect anything less from a Codemasters game. Like, this is exactly what you expect when you see their name on the title. It is, for the most part, playable. In some aspects, it's better than a lot of the fighter pilot games out there. Most of them are all first person, a little rough. This, at least you kind of, you know, you see your guy, you can do your stuff, but you don't have, like, you're firing infinite missiles. You don't have machine guns. You're just firing the missiles, unless those are machine guns. So, in a way, like, it's not as good as, you know, where you have to conserve your different ammo for different things. You have one button, like your firing missile button. But it's just like this endless stream of the same thing over and over again, which, you know, gets pretty boring pretty quick. And it's just like avoiding this endless stream of black blobs on your screen that just kind of almost appear out of nowhere. Alright, low fuel. What are we supposed to do about that? Prepare to refuel. If this is anything like Top Gun, this is gonna suck. Never did get that. Yep, definite. Oh wow, look at us go. We did it. I'm impressed. The Top Gun one was so rough. I think it was Top Gun where you had to do the again, but you had to like line up and you're doing all this. I almost never got that. I almost failed that constantly. Now we've got like Sidewinder missiles where they're like, why did refueling change the way our guns did? Okay, so hey, we got helicopters now. I mean, most of the time they're just green blobs on the screen in front of you, but I like how the enemies' missiles lock onto you and follow you around, but yours just kind of shoot in front of you. We almost did the entire thing without getting hit, but the last little second. Oh, that's just this is some garbage here. Trying to avoid the snow with the controls the way they are. This is kind of a nightmare. It's like your plane takes one shot from one little fucking thing and blows up. This guy's taking like 30 missiles and he's just like, we'll get there eventually. Hey, but we did it. We got through one of the things. Already this is probably the most playable flight simulator game that we've played on this channel so far. And we've played a good few of them already. It's not good by any means, but it is still kind of technically the best one. So that's kind of... We died. It wasn't... Don't know how to land, apparently. The World Terrorist Army has secretly developed a new super powerful jet. Alright, whatever. Okay, so I see we do have two different missiles. We have that and then the straight. So we've got everything is exactly the same, but the color's different. We do have some trees. Close combat. Okay, we're going into close combat. Weird. Interesting. So we're playing a completely different game now, all of a sudden. And all of a sudden your plane goes from being like really maneuverable to not maneuverable. The enemy fire on this game is so hard to see. Some of it blends in, some of it appears like at the last possible second. Controlling is not good enough to actually avoid things half the time. All in all, like, if you just like the first-person fighter piloted games, it's not for you. But if you just want to play an airplane game on the NES, I think this one is better than all the first-person view ones. Not to say it's good in any aspect. The level design is absolutely boring and repetitive and the same shit. Apologize about that, watching a dog, and apparently it is being a watchdog at the moment. Anyways, controls suck. Your plane just jarts around. There's no precision movement. The level design is garbage. It's too repetitive and boring. Other than that, like, the enemy fire is just kind of comes out of nowhere and is really frustrating and annoying. They can home in on you and you're trying to run around in the little tight space that you have while it's following you around. Just everything about the game is just lackluster, mediocre. I mean, it's pretty much exactly what you expect from a Codemaster game. They put in the least amount of effort possible to produce a game. They're always pretty much playable, but they're not really ever any really good and not worth actually having. they're playable for, you want something just to screw around with, you rent for a day, you play it, you go, okay, cool, I did that. And then you move on. But it's never a game that you want to wake up on Christmas and have. If it says Codemasters, you're going to be disappointed. And here we have more proof of that. It again is the best flight game on Nintendo that we've played so far. But that doesn't really mean anything. So with that being said, guys, you have a great day. Sorry for the noise, and we'll see you next time.